Hey guys, Michael and Daryl here, and today we will look into what is better, rent versus own, and we will take all the news headlines out of it and we'll look at the numbers, the facts, the logic, and that's why I invited Daryl here to really get into how does it look when you're renting and how does it look when you're owning a place when you look at the numbers.
And I think the first point, thanks very much, Michael. I think the first point to talk about is looking at all of the numbers. We tend to, when we're looking at rent versus own, we only look at parts of the numbers. So when I look at it, I want to look and see, how much does the property appreciate by? How much of the mortgage payment is actually going towards principal, because that's building my wealth. Right? So when you include all of those numbers into the picture, it overwhelmingly answers the question that buying is still definitely the option over renting. Okay? As well as, we're always hearing, oh, my landlord, I've got 60 days notice because my landlord's selling or their daughter's moving into the place. It puts you in control of your life. Okay? So let's jump into the numbers. So I did up an example here with $500,000. So a purchase price of $500,000. I just used that number because it's the cap for most of the first-time buyer programs. Okay, so minimum down payment 5%, $25,000. The high ratio or CMHC premium is $19,000. That gets added into the mortgage. Okay, so you end up with a total mortgage of $494,000. If we do that, I'm using a little bit of a higher rate right now, 5.34%. We've got a few rates better than that, but using that rate gives us a monthly payment of $2,969 a month, okay? But the good part about that is, of that $2,969, on the first payment, $795 of that is going towards principal, okay? So if we look at including that as building wealth, as well as over on this part, even if we assume that the property appreciates at 2% per year, and we have to remember it was almost 3% last month that properties went up. I'm saying we use 2% per year. So I think it's a pretty conservative number. If we say that property appreciates at 2% per year, that's $10,000 a year. So what we've done then down here is taken the total yearly costs if you own. So that's your mortgage payment, $350 for strata, $150 for property tax, put all those together and it's $41,600 a year. We've then compared that to renting for $2,200 a month, okay? So what we used was a 2-bedroom condo in Kelowna, okay? And the average rent on that was $2,200. For the owning part, we take the yearly costs less what the property appreciates by and less the principal that you paid it down, because that's building your wealth. So the actual cost to you is $21,856 a year. On renting, if you're paying rent at $2,200, that's all gone. That's being paid out. You're not getting any of that wealth back. That's $26,400. So you're looking at roughly a $500 per year, $5,000 per year difference in wealth by renting versus owning. Overwhelmingly in the favor of owning. And if you bump up the numbers to, I think, more realistic, where we use 3% or things like that, the wealth just grows and grows and grows exponentially.
Yeah, we got that slide here as well. So this is the 3% line.
So at 3%, you see, and we bumped up the rent to $2,500. At 3%, your total annual cost drops down to $16,800. And if we bump up the rental, it's up to $30,000. So almost double what it costs to own a home, okay? So to stay out of the market, I think, is a huge mistake. And you can speak more to the kind of the values on where they're going.
Yeah, I think that, with the values, we're definitely seeing that we had a big spike last year. It was kind of continuing all the way until March 2022, and then it adjusts when the interest rates are going up. And I think we're seeing sort of balanced market now, and the price is sort of stabilizing. We'll see what it's going to do with the last increase in the interest rate. And I think that the key is to think long term. If you were to buy and sell now with the cost of mortgage penalties, real estate commission, taxes, and all that is associated with buying and selling, short term, I wouldn't say it's a good strategy right now. You definitely want to look like 5+ years. and you'll always do, or 10 plus years ideally, you always will do well in real estate.
Yeah, and I think another thing to look at, we just saw the stats last week, you know, we're still right around 4 months worth of inventory.
Yep.
And unemployment numbers are still sitting around 5.4%. If we compare that back to 2007, the inventory is roughly triple that, and unemployment was at 6.8%. Mm-hmm. It's a very different scenario than where we're sitting today. We have very little inventory, and most people are working. Not everybody, but most people are working who want to be working right now. So that, in my opinion, that supply and demand says we should be keeping rate or values where they're at, or even up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. So I think it's a good idea to start saving for your down payment. And if you have questions how to get pre-approved and start the process, Daryl, what is the best way to reach you and book a conversation with you?
Give me a call, Daryl French, 250-470-8843, or email me at Daryl, DARYL, @lendingmax.ca.